In this daily drop, I'm going to talk about a few things I think are essential when you are budgeting for productions. So let's go. Okay, everybody, back here in the barn, and it's time to talk about budgeting for productions. Something I do. I haven't been doing as much as I'd like to be doing, but that I do. And today is a budgeting day. Now, I'm doing a project for an existing client, pretty remote location we're going to in Texas, a town of 500 people, about an hour and a half outside of San Antonio. And hopefully there'll be some good content in and around that production in a few weeks. But what I'm doing today is budgeting for that project. And there's just a few things that I want to talk about that I think are pretty essential. But the overriding, is that the right way to say it? I think so. Message is, do not sell yourself short. Budgets are getting tighter and tighter. Crews are getting smaller and smaller. But what you have to do is get paid for your actual time. And where it becomes a little gray for some people, it's definitely not gray for me, it's black and white, is in pre-production. And making sure that you're thinking about the entirety of the time that you and anybody else who's involved in the production is going to be spending before the production actually happens. And that is critical because it's very easy to just sort of, sweep that under the rug and say, that's just part of the project and I'm going to have non-billable time. I think it's okay to have non-billable time when you are budgeting for a project, you're writing a proposal, you're going back and forth with the client. If you're not actually consulting with them and doing a consulting job, that's fine. But as soon as work is involved that is part of that overall production, you need to bill for that time. And I think that the place, as I said before, that it kind of gets swept under the rug or forgotten a lot of the time is in pre-production. There's a lot of other stuff to remember in that budget sheet as well. But if you are, let's say, in the role of a producer or producer director, and you're making X number of dollars per day for a 10 to 12 hour day, make sure that if you're doing pre-production, that you're making at least a half rate for your pre-production. That's my feeling. Those days are generally not 10 to 12 hours. They might be 7 or 8 hour days, but there's still days where you're working, you're planning, you're doing things. In fact, today, while I'm budgeting, I'm figuring out flights for myself, coordinating flights with other people on the crew. I'm trying to figure out where we're staying, what car or vehicle we're renting. I'm making calls and putting soft holds on crew like a gaffer based out of San Antonio. And that is time being spent on the actual production as a whole. So while it's important to also remember to budget for travel days, and generally the way we do it is we do a travel day at a half rate as well, it's important to make sure that you know that you're probably going to spend at least one full day on planning the actual production. Part of that's going to be coordinating with the client, making calls, figuring out what your locations are going to be, everything else. And then there's going to be a second day that is going to be for equipment, for planning, prepping, basically a checkout. So make sure, in general, I would say that if you're the one planning and doing the production and your equipment is involved, that you have at least 2 days in the budget, even if that's at a half rate in pre-production, for your time. And then make sure you're getting at least a half day rate for your travel days. And don't forget that on those travel days and on the days that you're doing work, you also have meals and expenses. So even though that may not be the same amount that you would have if you're on location or on set where you're doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there still needs to be something in the budget for that. So even if it's just $40 or $50 a day, put it in the budget. It is something that's going to come out of your pocket, so it should be part of the budget for the project, so it does not come out of your pocket. All right, that's what I got for you on thoughts on budgeting today. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.